Hi everyone, some of you may remember me setting up this. It was a Starline 85 in my wife's home office here, and I thought I'd give you an update. To be fair, as you can see, it has been a little bit neglected. I've been feeding the fish, dosing a little bit of liquid fertiliser, but apart from that, it has not really seen much maintenance. As you can see, the glass is dirty, the foreground carpet has completely disappeared, almost, the Marsilea. So today we're going to replant that. So I'll nip to Aquarium Gardens and we'll pick up a new foreground plant suitable for here, remove the remnants of the Marsilea, give the rocks a clean, give the wood a clean, trim some of the worst crip leaves. Most of them are okay. None, not really any melt at all. Yeah, water change, clean the pre-filter in the Biomaster here, and then get it looking as good as new. Also, I think I might move some of the fish. So we've got some beautiful cardinal tetra specimens in here. So I'm thinking I might put them in my Scapoline 90, and then maybe the Gara, the Panda Gara here. I think I'll keep that in there as an algae eater, actually. But the Botia Sidfa monkey, these dwarf chain loaches, I do think they're kind of not letting the carpet. They're not really helpful for the carpeting plant because they're always sort of browsing around the soil. So we'll probably rehome them. We put them in the Highline 400. So yeah, that's the plan. Let's do some cleaning, clean the glass, remove the remaining carpet here, clean the rocks, and then get ready for our new foreground plants. So I've cleaned the aquarium glass with a scraper quite thoroughly. Very stubborn algae, which the scraper is perfect for removing that. Next job is to add that thin layer. So I've got a jug here, just going to fill that up with about a litre, half a litre of Amaze scraper soil. And then we'll just sprinkle that over the top there. It shouldn't make too much mess. Fingers crossed. There's about 3/4 of a litre there. And the top tip is to pour it right against the front glass, and then it won't hopefully spill over where it's not needed. So any kind of minor ammonia spike caused by the soil will be dealt with by the mature filter and the plants and the existing mature soil, because it will have beneficial bacteria, nitrifying bacteria, which will soon eat up that ammonia. So there's probably enough, actually, don't want to overdo it. And then you can use a paintbrush or a scraper, and then you can flatten out that soil now, nice and neat. Much neater than before. And then it'll be time to plant our chosen plants that we'll get soon from Aquarium Gardens. So I'm thinking it needs to be a foreground plant that's robust, tolerates no CO2 injection and relatively low lighting. Also potentially digging, because if I do decide to keep all of these fish, a couple of the species kind of dig. So the dwarf chain loaches, the Botia Sidfa monkey, and the Panda Gara, they both like to sort of actively interact with the soil, so this can cause issues with delicate carpeting plants, hence why we're going to use something a bit more robust this time. So yeah, we'll have a look what Dave's got available, and next thing you see will be me with the plants. Yes. Okay, so just back from Aquarium Gardens, and I have selected Carolon of Vietnam for the foreground. And Dave has also kindly donated some red stem plants, which I could put them in here to see how they go. They were from a low-tech tank originally, or it could go in the Scapeline 60 low-tech tank, which I'm kind of leaning towards because I want this to be really low maintenance, so stems aren't really appropriate for that. So I'll pop those red stems in the Scapeline 60, I'll show you that later. And then we'll prepare, how many pots did we get in the end? 1, 2, 3. 3 pots, so divide those up as much as possible to get the most economical coverage. And that will just be a really nice spiky texture in the foreground there. Nice, robust, easy, low maintenance foreground plant. The 3 pots I've separated into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 15 to 20 individual plants. And then I'll just try to cover the open foreground as evenly as possible. Very simple aquascape, very easy plants, all slow growing. I have had the lights on for 6 hours a day, but I might boost that to 8 hours now. Now it's a bit more mature. So this doesn't really carpet, but it does grow more leaves from its crown, from like a rose. It's called a rosette plant. So it will gradually get thicker and denser, and eventually, just by the nature of that, it will cover the foreground entirely. But it will take months to do that because we're not using CO2, we're not using highlighting levels. What I will do though is add some ORZA plant boost tablets all over the substrate into the soil to help feed all of the plants, the crypts, and we've literally just got crypts in the soil and now the Aerocaulon, so they'll all benefit from those extra nutrients. Actually, I remember seeing this plant in the Tropica test lab probably 10 years ago. It's one of the easiest Aerocaulons available. The Aerocaulon tends to prefer softer, more acidic water and CO2 injection and intense light, so they tend to be more difficult, but this is very relatively easy. And in low lighting it actually stays relatively short, so it won't overtake the foreground too much. I think it's much more attractive than the Marseillais. The Marseillais with the round texture, it's not really in keeping with the spiky textures of the crypts, so I think this is much more in keeping with that theme of spikiness. We have the contrast of the round textures of the Anubias, which...
I'm just going to get a cup of tea. Did you want anything?
No, I'm fine, thank you. Okay, so last job is always the water change, and while I do that I clean the ORZA Biomaster pre-filter. The reason we do a big water change at the end is because we've disturbed the substrate significantly. We've put brand new substrate in there as well. We've dislodged a load of organics from the plants, and just by interacting with the aquascape we tend to release a load of stuff that can cause algae. So by doing that huge water change we dilute all of that stuff. That feeds the garden, and then we top up with fresh dechlorinated tap water using ORZA Less Stress Plus water conditioner. And then finally we feed the plant leaves with daily fertiliser, and then as I said we'll feed the plant roots a little bit more with the plant boost tablet. So let's do the water change now. I'm just into the tank, haven't I?